Hi guys, this is your Tito Arjo and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited to share one of the most memorable, mind-blowing, life-changing, unbelievable yet wonderful experiences of my life. I recently attended a week-long meditation retreat led by Dr. Joe Dispenza in Cartagena, Colombia. It was held last January at the Hotel Las Americas Resort and Convention Center. So I'm not new to meditation, but I'm relatively new to Joe Dispenza and his methodology. There are many different meditation practices and gurus out there, but I remember Dr. Joe because he was the only one who, at least to my perception at that time, was really approaching meditation in a scientific way and who would bring it in front of other scientists to measure its effects. So when my friend told me that he was coming to Colombia, I just had to take a chance and go for it. I spent approximately $2,500 for the ticket alone. If you add the cost of the plane ticket and the Airbnb, it's easily one of the most expensive events that I've ever attended in my life. But my intuition told me to attend the event, and I just went. Was my intuition correct, or did I just waste a bunch of money? Well, let's find out. I'll share my thoughts on that later on at the end of the video. So who is Dr. Joe Dispenza? Joe is a chiropractic doctor, researcher, lecturer, and author. He is best known for his work on the mind and body connection and the science of change. He is particularly interested in the relationship between the brain and the body, and how our thoughts and emotion can influence our physical health, our inner well-being, and our external reality. He is an expert in the field of neuroscience, epigenetics, mind-body medicine, and brain and heart coherence. He has authored several books on these topics, including Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, Evolve Your Brain, The Science of Changing Your Mind, and Becoming Supernatural, How Common People Are Doing the Uncommon. He conducts retreats and workshops all over the world. He shares his scientific knowledge, combines it with meditation techniques and breathing exercises to help people transform their lives and overcome their illnesses, physical and emotional challenges by reaching a state of energy coherence. One of his taglines is, "Change your energy, change your life." I'll talk more about energy coherence later on in the video. First, I want to share more about the event itself. This was a 7-day event that started on a Monday afternoon. Registration opened, and immediately, I was surprised at how many people attended the event. They said there was about 1,600 people there, mostly from North and South America, and a small percentage were from other parts of the world. I think I was the only Filipino there. The first day of meditation started on a Tuesday, early morning at 6 a.m. There were a couple of days where we started as early as 4 a.m., and we would normally end each day at around 8 or 9 p.m. Each day, we would have 3 or 4 meditation sessions, with Joe giving lectures in between. His lectures was geared towards the what and the why, so we can put more value into what we are doing. It was mostly about understanding the nature of our being, how our consciousness is connected to everything in the universe, and instructions for our next meditation session. I won't go too much into detail about this because it can be very complex and tricky to explain. And I might just butcher his work. Although Joe is really good in simplifying these concepts in a way that most people can understand. So I highly suggest to have an open mind and read his books if you want to know more about his work. I'll leave a link to his books in the description below. They also showed multiple video testimonials of people with incurable illnesses like cancer and multiple sclerosis who came to previous events on a wheelchair, and after a few days of solid meditation, suddenly just stood up and started to walk again.
What? My balance is next level. Like, see, I could stand on one leg now. See, I could not stand like this. It took me so much of effort to put my hands like this on my back. But even while walking also, I could see a change in my walk. It was so smooth. I was like, oh.
I thought this was great and heartwarming, But for something this big, video testimonials are simply not enough. I needed to see solid scientific evidence from research conducted by an independent panel of experts. And you know what? They have it. They presented the research that they're currently doing with Dr. Hemal Patel. Dr. Hemal is a PhD professor and the Vice Chair for Research in the Department of Anesthesiology at the University of California in San Diego. UC San Diego is one of the leaders in the United States when it comes to brain and consciousness research. He was initially very skeptical about meditation until he saw the results of their research studies. It turns out that these week-long meditation retreats are a perfect place to conduct research because you have a large group of meditators in a controlled environment. So, they launched Quantum, which stands for Quest to Analyze 1,000 Humans Meditating. They measure biometrics, feces, and blood samples of both advanced and novice meditators to study how meditation impacts a person's biological signature. And here's what they found. Clinical data from the biospecimens of the participants showed a significant increase in diversity in their microbiomes or gut bacteria. Microbiomes play an important role in maintaining one's physical and mental health and are involved in a variety of biological processes such as digestion, nutrient absorption, immune function, and disease prevention. But here's what really blew my mind. They have been getting a lot of testimonials from people who healed their late-stage cancer from meditation.
I had an MRI a couple months before stating that my tumor seemed to be coming back. And I knew exactly why. I was filled with stress. I was planning a wedding. I was putting aside my meditation and focusing on myself, or actually everyone around me, more so than myself, making sure everyone was happy, making sure everything we wanted was there. I didn't have time to meditate as much as I used to. So I went to Dr. Joe a couple months later, scheduled my MRI after, and the tumor had shrunk back to normal.
Almost 5 years from now, I received a diagnosis of cancer, a very aggressive kind of cancer called triple negative. In January 2021, I received a second diagnosis that I had metastasis, that I was with stage 4 cancer. The cancer came back to my breast, the one that I had mastectomy. So it was something really rare. And also the cancer was in my lungs. So for me, at that time I thought, well, now I'm gonna die. 3 months after this retreat, I meditated every day, like 5 hours a day, 3 times a day, because I knew I had a lot to do with me to transform me in another person, in my new version. And 3 months later, I did the scan again, and the cancer got worse in my breast. But in my lungs, it disappeared. So I was, oh my gosh, what is going on here? But I was already doing the work. So I feel everything is fine. Just keep doing what we're doing. Just keep changing. So in May, I received the Coherence healing, a remote one. And in July, again, more scans, and the cancer was completely gone. I had no sign of cancer in my body, and my doctors were very surprised because only with 4 months and a half, 5 months, I had nothing else. So they stopped chemo, and they say, well, we'll stop doing chemo and we'll keep testing you each 3 months. I say, okay, we will keep testing, but I know I'm healed. And since then, almost 2 years, I am cancer-free.
So in order to study this more and eliminate any possibility of placebo, they drew blood from an experienced meditator and injected it into a cancer cell in a lab. And in doing so, this resulted in a 70% decrease in the cancer cell metabolism. There was something in the advanced meditator's blood that slows down cancer. They even went a step further by having a small group meditate over a cancer cell inside the petri dish that's inside an incubator. And with this experiment, they saw a 25% decrease in the cancer cell metabolism. It took me a while to process this because my mind was just like blown away. This is just crazy results. You can watch the full discussion by Dr. Joe and Dr. Hemmel and their research team in their website, and I'll share the link in the description below. In between these lectures and sessions, we would have breaks. Breakfast and lunch was served buffet style along the beach in the hotel. The food was really good, and they offered a wide variety of options. I loved our 20-minute coffee breaks, where I found myself going to the garden area and just lying down, connecting to the ground, and meeting other attendees. It was a great way to connect with like-minded people from all over the world. After each break, we had these mini dance parties where people can get together in front of the stage to sing and dance for a few minutes. It was a good way to move our bodies and get the blood circulation going before the start of another session. The energy was really high and it was a lot of fun. Each meditation session would last from about 1.5 hours to 3 hours long. It was a guided meditation with music and sometimes with videos as well. The sessions were progressive, with Dr. Joe adding a new step every day to complete the stack of techniques necessary to achieve energy coherence. It included some breathwork for pineal gland activation, different types of meditation, including a walking meditation by the beach. Once you know how to become energy coherent while sitting down with your eyes closed, the next step is to learn how to maintain your coherence while walking with your eyes open. The walking meditation was so powerful for me, and it was just so beautiful seeing other people embody their coherent energy and see their aura shimmer under the sun. So what is energy coherence? Everything in the universe is made up of energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It is simply transformed from one form to another. The whole universe is like a gigantic infinite energy field with everything connected and interacting with each other in various ways. Our body, being part of the universe, is also made up of energy. Eastern medicine recognized that there are over 100 different energy centers in the body, but there are only about 8 main energy centers or chakra points that we focus on. These focal points control the flow of energy throughout the body and runs through the base of the spine up to the top of our heads. So imagine the body as a symphony orchestra with each energy center playing a different instrument. Energy coherence is achieved when all the energy centers are in sync, resonating in the same frequency. Each center is tuned in and connected to another center, vibrating together as one and thus increasing your energy field. In this state of energy wholeness, your mind and body are able to do these 3 things very, very well. First is to heal and to grow. The science is clear on this. The primary reason we get sick is because the energy is out of balance. If the energy is coherent and balanced, then the body will heal and grow itself. One notable example of this is a testimony from a participant who had his thyroid removed, and through meditation and energy coherence, was able to grow his thyroid back.
So I was rushed to the hospital, and then I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. They say that your body's immune system is attacking itself. You have an autoimmune disease. And so I remembered from, just what Dr. Joe Dispenza taught, that we can go into the infinite field in order to heal our bodies, in order to have the life that we really wanted. And I decided to move outside of my fear. I started to slowly do meditations and reconnect with that infinite field. And then I surrendered. I surrendered to having the surgery, but with a caveat. I asked God that if I'm going to have the surgery, then to allow my thyroid to grow back. And connecting with that infinite field and holding my hand to my throat every day, I imagined that I was talking to the soul of my thyroid, that I was calling my thyroid forth. And so after I had the surgery, my endocrinologist said, your numbers are still high, and she lowered my dose of my medication, and she had to keep lowering the dose because every time I came back every 2 weeks, my thyroid numbers were still really high, and she couldn't explain it. So she sent me back to the surgeon. I go back to the surgeon, and the surgeon is assuming that the doctor did something wrong, and he does the ultrasound and he puts it up to my throat, and he turns pale white. Like, he's a darker skinned Indian doctor, and he turns pale white, and he drops the handle in my lap, and he runs out the room. He comes back ashen, and he's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but not only has your thyroid grown back, and he said, I've seen that maybe twice in my 37 years of practicing, but he said it works, like it's producing hormone. And he said, I've never seen that. Like, that is quote unquote impossible. And he's like, I don't know how to explain it. Here are the x-rays of your thyroid after it was completely removed. Like, it's completely gone. And now here's your thyroid back again. And this happened within 2 months. 2 months of going into that infinite space. 2 months of learning how to be able to control my life and control my body.
What's interesting is, when you know how to make your own energy coherent, you can then share this coherence with others and perform a coherence healing. Okay, so this was crazy. During the last couple of days of the event, we were divided into groups of 8 to perform a coherence healing. Some participants volunteered to be healies because they have some form of ailments or sickness. So here's how it went. First, we meditated by ourselves to each become energy coherent on our own. Then, we entered the room and found our healie lying down on the floor in a state of surrender and acceptance of our energies. We surrounded each healie with 8 people and combined our coherent energies as one. We rubbed our hands like this and faced our palms to the healie to pass our energy. This created an energy field of wholeness, love, and gratitude. I could feel the energy reverberating through my arms, and it felt as if there were no gaps between myself and the people next to me. It was one of the most beautiful and loving experiences of my life. For a moment, the strangers next to me felt like family. The whole thing lasted for about an hour and a half, and the whole group was crying afterwards because we all felt the love being shared to the healie. The second thing that energy coherence allows you to do really, really well is to have mystical experiences. Many participants have shared seeing the future, going to other dimensions, reliving your past lives, and astral traveling. So, imagine this. Imagine 1,600 people meditating deeply in a convention center for days. The energy and vibration would be so high that some crazy things would happen. You'd hear people cry, scream, laugh in bliss, moan in ecstasy, and have mystical experiences here and there throughout the sessions. I personally had the moment where I saw what seemed to be a version of my future self. I don't know what to make of it right now, and it's difficult to explain, but my friends and I did another video sharing more about our experiences, which I'll post in another time, so please make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. The third thing that energy coherence allows you to do well is to manifest faster. In a state of coherence, one is so connected with the universe that you can manipulate space and time so you can attract your thoughts and intentions towards you. With manifestation, it's just something that you have to test on your own. Dr. Joe shared a bunch of his personal experience on this and that of other people. You can manifest something meaningful, like for your family or for your work, or maybe something randomly trivial, just as a sign to see if it works. I've always believed in the power of manifestation, but I would love to be more efficient with it. So I'm playing around with this right now and experimenting to see if with meditation and energy coherence, I can manifest thoughts and ideas faster. I want to share 2 things that I want to manifest. First is a PPP, which stands for a profitable passion project that will afford me a certain lifestyle that I want. Second is, I'm manifesting meeting the right woman for me. It's a little tricky because I'm new here in Colombia and I don't really know a lot of people. My Spanish is okay, but I don't really go out to party anymore. I'm not in the hookup scene and I don't use dating apps. I do a little bit of day game here and there, but I don't really like to force things. I want this to manifest in a way that will surprise me. Something random and coincidental. I think it's more romantic that way, and it's a good way to experiment with meditation and energy coherence. There are a lot of beautiful women here in Colombia, but finding someone with the right vibe for someone like me who's from the other side of the world seems a little tricky. But let's see. Let's see how the universe will provide. Let's see how this works and how the universe will surprise me. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to update you on this in my future videos. So here are my key takeaways. If mysticism can be measured objectively and systematically, especially with our advances in technology, then mysticism and science are essentially the same thing. I feel that a lot of people don't meditate because they still think it's mystical mumbo-jumbo fluff. It's unfortunate because that opinion is simply outdated and ignorant. The science is there, and the body of evidence supporting meditation is growing day by day. Meditation is easy. You don't need to become an expert in order to receive the benefits. The research is clear on this, that novice meditators also see a significant improvement in their health immediately. I personally see meditation as a skill that is available to everyone. It's something that you hone and practice and get good at over time. Once you've learned the basics and it comes naturally to you and it's part of your daily routine, then you can play around with it more and learn and explore different techniques and practices that you can try. I really enjoy this process. It's super fun because you see yourself grow and change in unexpected ways. Life gets easier, you're more joyful, and you get more lucky in your daily life. So for my final thoughts, was it worth the investment of time and money for me attending this event? And my answer is a resounding yes. I think it will be one of my best investments ever. The best investment you can make is in yourself. Expanding your mind, learning more about your body, creating new experiences, and connecting with like-minded, amazing people. I dream of a world where meditation has become mainstream and is as popular as eating and sleeping. Our quality of life will drastically improve. Everyone will be healthier, happier, and more understanding of each other. We can end wars and disease in a single generation. And perhaps then, the whole universe will open up to us and leap ourselves forward into the next stage of our evolution. And maybe, just maybe, as a bonus, we all find the person and the love that we are all looking for.